Welcome, legends, to this live stream in the Hor-Che, the Hornet Apache home sim cockpit. A quick bit of orientation for you before we crack on. There are three camera views there: the side view, a wide view, and a first person view here, so you can see what's going on in the cockpit, etc. I've got my key for the Apache. We're in a mission, and you should be able to see that I won't be using the mouse. We can move that back there. We don't need that. Sometimes I do need to use the mouse for menus and things like that, but actually flying and operating in the Apache or the Hornet, I don't usually use the mouse or the keyboard at all. Right, okay, here we are in this beautiful machine, and you know, for those of you from the DCS World community, you've seen this and you know it and love it, etc, etc. For those of you from the radio control community, you know, this is probably the first or couple of times that you've seen this. You may have seen a couple of my other videos, etc. And what you'll see in here is 6 degrees of freedom moving around, which of course is massively immersive in itself, let alone actually when you're privileged as I am to be surrounded by the cockpit. But it can make people sick moving around a lot in the cockpit as when they're watching videos, so I will try my very best to keep it as still as possible and lock the view into position when we're flying around. Cool, so let's put that on, then we can see what we're doing. Other views that we've got the first person view here. So in the bottom left hand corner, somewhere around there, you should be able to see the main sort of screen. We've got side views there with the left and right MPDs or multi-purpose displays, and we'll see them as we go around, and the wide view again, where you've got left and right multi-purpose displays and some instruments. Okay, so a quad view and a site view, so we'll use those as we go on. Orientation for you is we're on the 4-way server, which is a multiplayer server, and this is where DCS really sort of lets itself down. This is where I've got to use the mouse, look. This is where it lets itself down, really. This is a fantastic multiplayer, lots of people use it, multiplayer map mission, and this is where a lot of people come and do training and work together, etc. And it's a fantastic, there's lots of different missions, etc. And this is where it separates itself from real life. Real life, we don't just all disappear to an operational theatre and do our own thing. You know, we've all got areas of operations and specific missions that we need to complete to keep the area clear and then held away from enemy forces. DCS World really doesn't have any form of dynamic campaign working together for the bigger holistic picture, the unified whole, so to speak, of success. So tonight's mission, we'll just be flying ourselves, and we'll be attacking a couple of areas and seeing whether we can come back in one piece. Cool, okay, well, where's my key? This key really doesn't work, look. This is not going to work without a key. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and lock this view into position like that. We'll remove our man, and that's solely so that you can see starting up of the helicopter, etc. We're going to check that our brake is on. It is, and as we're going around now, we are just checking our settings. Our collective is down. Engine starts are at center. Our throttle is all the way back. Our settings for our IODs, etc. Rotor brake would normally be on lock, but we're going to take it off now, so it's ready to go. We're not on 0 eyes. Our sensors are all good, and over here is actually the light panel here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that straight away on navigation lights. So as soon as we've got power to the system, the lights are on, and people know that there is a dangerous weapon platform near them. The other side of things, the comms panel here, we're going to set that up. We're going to make sure these are in the middle so we don't get our ears blasted, and we will set that up as we go through of the setting up of the aircraft. Right, okay, let's crack on then. Now I can also pop up other screens. This is called an enhanced upfront display there. I'll just try and move my view again so that perhaps you can see all of that. I can't see what you can see. I can only see this front screen here, so I'm not going to be able to tell whether it's blocking your view, so I apologise. But that enhance up front display there will tell us when we've got power, etc. So let's give this a crack. Let's give it some power. Sure enough, you've heard the system, and we're looking at the enhance up front display now, and we're expecting it to come alive, and it has. Now that we've got some real basic power to the systems and to the aircraft, our navigation lights won't be on at this stage. There isn't enough power to power any hydraulics or anything like that. Just enough for us to have basic information in front of us, set up our comms, etc., and have enough power to fire up the APU, which is what we're going to do now. Okay, so we're going to open the hatch, and we're going to push and hold the APU. Now in the Hor-Che, I've made this box here, which doubles up for me, working with the Hornet and the Apache. The three lights that you see represent weight on wheels. They'll go out as we lift off. And we're waiting for a blue light, as well as the enhanced up front display that will tell us the APU is ready. The APU is the auxiliary power unit, a small jet engine used to power the main motors. Simple as that, really. There were two of them in the Apache. There's the blue light. That's great. So we're now really ready to start up the helicopter for proper. We've made sure our rotor brake is off, our collective is down, our throttle is all the way back, or our throttle levers are all the way back. And in front of us now we've got the up front displays, and I'll put them on for you so you can see them. In this view here, in the main view, they'll be white, and that's so that it's transparent so you can see through them. But if we go to a wide view, for example, you'll then see them in the colour exactly as they are. And if we do use the video system for engaging targets later, we'll have that view where you'll be able to see the video a bit closer up. But for now, so you can see setting up of the helicopter, we'll keep it in that view. Okay, so the APU is up. We can see that down here, we can see that our nav lights are indeed on. Green down here, red down there, and as well as if we go to the outside view, sure enough, there is our views there. Beautiful, isn't it? Love the Apache. Little did I realise when I was so privileged, like many of us, to have support from this particular weapon platform, that years later I'd be flying such a very well put together sim, way better than the days of Jane's longbow and so on. You won't really get any better than this. Right, let's fire up some engines. We've got our engine page here on the left. In fact, I'm going to in fact no, you can see what we're looking for is we're looking for our percentage of our air compressor to level out on each motor as we fire it up. We're looking at 22% before we give it some beans, so let's fire up our first motor, our first engine number 1. And on the side there we can see the percentage of the air compressor ramping up, and now it got to about 20 odd %, and we're just going to move the lever to the idle position. Jolly good. We should really wait till that's leveled out, but we're going to start the second engine now. Up that comes. And forward on that lever there. The alarms that you're hearing now. Oh, fuel transfer foul, that's interesting. Let's see what's going on there. Transfer is on auto. That should pick up. Let's hope that picks up. And what we're waiting for in these, on the left hand MPD, the left display that you can see here, we're waiting for those percentages to level out, and we're waiting for the temperature of the motors and the torque to level out, and once that's done we can then give it some beans on the throttle lever. We've got a fuel transfer foul, that's interesting. We'll look at that in a minute. The Apache in real life is designed so that, look, everything is great unless I tell you something's wrong. And in this particular area that we're looking at here, where it says fuel transfer foul, this is the warning and caution area. So if anything crops up there, you really need to be, be aware of it. So like I said, we'll look at that fuel transfer foul. I think that's something written into the mission. That's always good. Add a bit of dynamism to the situation. Let's turn our APU off. and shut the catch, and sure enough our light has gone off. Now let's have a look at this fuel situation. Fuel transfer has failed, so let's go to let's go to yeah, that is failing, isn't it? Auto, come on. Yeah, that's interesting. I've got no indication here of fuel transfer. Let's go crossfeed from forward. We'll boost that. There we go. Let's boost into the front. Still coming up with a fail. Interesting. Let's dumb that. Hopefully that should be fine. It's still coming up as a fail. Interesting. I've not come across that before. Have you? If you have, let me know. But otherwise I think that looks pretty much alright. It doesn't, does it? Well, we are transferring fuel. There's no question there. Okay. Yeah, fuel transfer fail. Interesting. Like I said, I've not come across that before. Yeah, I won't spend too long on this, but the displays that you see here are out of sync to the Apache. The Apache actually has 6 buttons, you can see that on the main screen, and these only have 5 buttons each end, so I've had to program a button in between to be number 6. The number 6 button is actually this one. Let's put it back to auto, so whether that kicks in. Oh no, we don't want that. Auto. Let's put this back to normal. Normal. Okay, that's normal now. Fuel transfer fail is still up as a warning though. You can see that there. Okay, you know what? We're going to leave it. Going to leave it. Let's crack on. Right. Let's go to this view so that you can see it in the actual displays as they actually are. So we're in our weapon page now. So let's select 100 on the guns. On the rockets today, we're going to be firing 12 in a salvo. Maximum range I'm going to reduce to 1,000 meters. Oh God, not 100 meters, 1,000 meters. Our acquisition source we're going to be fixed today, and that's pretty much our weapons set up. On the missile side of things, these are I've got 2 lasers and 2 radar active, so I've got 2 AGM-114, sorry, 4 AGM-114Ks and 4 Ls. So the Ks are laser guided and the Ls are radar guided. Fire and forget, essentially. So that's our weapon system set up. I'm content with that. Now for the FCR. The FCR is that big bloody dome up there. So let's set that up. We want to unpin it. We want to override the bit test. We're going to keep it as Scheme A. It is a priority system. This tells us that ground targets that are stationary are going to be more of a priority than moving or air. And there are other schemes that we can choose, B and C, different priorities essentially. So we're going to keep it at B. Sorry, at A. That's all we need to do there. I'm content with everything else. Default. The RFI doesn't work on this at the minute, so that's irrelevant. So cool, I'm happy with that. That's good. There's our FCR, and we'll keep that up on the left hand screen as we go along there. Now for the right hand screen, this is what we refer to as our TSD really, and this is going to be our main display. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the map so that it's transparent for you, and what we're going to do now is we're going to set it up to show me different things during different stages of ingress. This is the navigation phase, so we want to see inactive zones, we want to see where our co-pilot is looking, and we want to see endurance and wind information. But in the attack phase, we don't want to see wind, we don't want to see endurance, we don't really care about any of that. We do want to see the current route, purely and simply for safe egress, and we want to see a co-pilot cursor, but we're not really interested in anything else. Let's zoom out. 15 miles is good enough. Back to our weapons page actually, because one thing we need to do is bore sight our IADs. Now we're going to pop our IADs up. I'm going to move it about, etc. I'm going to reduce that glare there, and what we're going to do is we're going to line it up down here. There we go, that will do. That's bore sighted. I'm now content that if I fire those, if I shoot those guns, shoot that cannon, it's going to hit at 1,000 meters. And we're also, while we're here, we're going to turn the auto page off. This means if I'm on the video and I'm looking at video and I'm acquiring targets, that it's not going to disappear just because there's a threat. I don't want it to disappear, but I do want the RLWR on. I do want to be told. Exactly as you just heard there, fixed wing, searching, and I do want that to be terse. I don't want a million and one things. And for our ASE, we're going to ground override now, and this is basically our chaff arming and our program there. Turn that to off. Yeah, we've already done that. And this is going to fire 2 chaff, 0.4 of a second between once, and I'm going to change that salvo count to twice. Good, that's all that set up, so we're happy with that. Good. Now we can see on the right hand TSD here those 2 little icons there. Hopefully you should be able to see this view. Those 2 little icons there, they represent aircraft, so we'll have a look in a minute on the map, and we'll refer to that map as sort of Blue 4 tracker, if you like, to give us an idea of exactly what's going on. So that's our map, that's our radar setup, and that's our weapon system setup, and our TSD, or our tactical situation display setup. I'm content now. We're pretty much set on our MPDs. Couple of other things we need to do. Let's get rid of our IADs, our integrated augmented helmet mounted augmented data system, whatever it's called. A couple of things we need to do now. So let's go on automatic control, automatic contrast mode if we start implementing any form of night vision system, which we've got on here. Looks like it's getting dark, so we might do. Let's just pop that on, and then at the same time free our head movement, and all we're going to do is we're going to turn the NVS mode here to normal, and as soon as that happens we're then using either one of 2 night vision systems on the aircraft. Currently we're using TADS, that is so you can see on the front of the aircraft, well you can't actually see on the front of the aircraft, in fact we're using the pilot night vision system there. In fact that's the pilot night vision system, which is a lot better. Yeah, and what we can do now is we can adjust the contrast and the gain, etc, etc, and anyone who's used night vision goggles, which I'm sure quite a few of you will know, that you bypass setting them up before it gets dark at a peril. So that'll do me for now. I know if I need to use them, then all will be well. Coming down here, we haven't done the fire check. This is the only place that I would use the mouse for, but you know what, if you get shot in the Apache, it's game over. so I wouldn't be worried about fire checks if I was you. I don't think the model's quite right in real life. I've seen Apaches come back with holes in them. They certainly don't lose half the aircraft just because they've been shot by an AK-47. So as much as I don't use a mouse in the pit, there's the fire test, and I've no intention of doing the fire test ever again, or using that mouse. So goodbye to that mouse. We don't need that. We don't use it. We're not interested in it at all. Everything here can be done by hand. Okay, down here now, the instruments on the right hand side, and if I pop them up, then you can see that. And what we're going to do is we're going to first of all, we're going to our HSI, we're going to level that off, and what we should do is we should get some form of reading of what the altitude is, and we can get that from air traffic control. Air traffic control in DCS World, or comms in general, is pretty bloody poor, to be honest with you, but we'll see what that setting is. Let's give it a go. So on the radio, ATC FARP Berlin, even though we've already started up, we'll request startup.
Request startup.
Tum-ty-tum-ty-tum. Okay, thanks very much. Well, you know what? There we go, good example. I'm going to say that 0 is about there. That seems incredibly high. Actually, that seems incredibly high. I should have left it where it was. 299.2. Okay, that will do. And then the comms channel, the comms panel, sorry, that you can see there. We'll remove those instruments now. But the comms panel that you can see there, right in front of us, we'll zoom that in. Zoom that in there, and we're going to set this up. We're just checking now that our dials, that our frequencies, and that our volume and our squelch, which of course is massively important. We've got I've got no other player as the co-pilot in this, so hot mic and ICS is irrelevant. I'll keep it on voice activated. Sensitivity is about half, and the master all the way down. RLWR all the way full maximum. I want to hear when I'm being tracked or anything else via radar. So comms panel set. The only other panel now really to set up is our CMWS panel. Turn it on. We're not going to arm it just yet. We're going to make sure that we've got the right audio and the right lamp settings. It's passed its in test. Flick it to CMWS. We're going to leave it on auto, which means it'll initiate the program that we set earlier on. And then when we get airborne and we fence in or prepare to engage, we'll then arm that. Cool. Right, now, see what I mean? It makes you sick if I move my head too much. So, okay, cool. Now that's us now ready to go. All we need to do now is actually determine where we're going to go and what we are going to do. Pop them up. Let's pop our F10 map up. Again, in comes the mouse. Okay, so we are let's get some orientation. So we are here at FARP Berlin, and just south-southeast is an enemy location here, in between these two sort of strip woods heading north to south, in between two rivers. And we can see here there are some infantry, it seems, and a couple of light-skinned vehicles. Looks like some form of comms location, maybe a small headquarters or whatever. I think we should head south and mix it up and ruin their day. And taking a bigger look, there is no threat to me from any air, and there's no threat to me from any ground forces. That we know of course, that we know of. That's not to say it doesn't. But our plan will be to head south-southeast. How far? Let's find out. Let's find out which one of it is. Is it that one? Show ruler, yeah. So we're looking at ingressing approximately 11 miles south-southeast. We'll hold short just to this built-up area here, 9.2 Ks, observe and engage as appropriate. Already been given authority to engage. Once we've done that, depending on what our ammunition state is, will depend whether we come back to FARP Berlin, rearm, refuel and head forward. Use that as a launch point to then start nap of the earth flying and scope out this large airfield, which is going to be how far away? Let's see now. Which is going to be another 12 miles southeast of this first enemy location. So we're going to call this first enemy location, we're going to call it command, or we're going to call it com. We're going to call it MQ1. There we go, MQ1. And once we've cleared MQ1, we'll then head down to Maykop and engage this Maykop. I never say it right, but we'll then look at this airfield. We can see there's a Reaper at 20,000 feet that's hovering over there, probably feeding data back, etc. And in this particular simulation, you can use Reaper and you can use other players for JTAC and all sorts. And we can see there's a lot of players on this particular map doing exactly that. Of all the servers, and I've been doing this an awful long time, but it is without shadow of doubt the 4YA, in my view, 4YA group have done a wonderful, wonderful job with the variation of missions, etc. Yeah. There we go. So, oh, we didn't do a summary, did we? A summary is always good, isn't it? So, summary is we're going to head south-southeast 12 miles to an area known as M1 com. We're going to engage that area. Currently we know there's infantry there and there's some soft skin vehicles. We don't know the dispersed nature of it, and we don't know anything else, so we will need to get eyes on. And in order to do that, we're going to create a baseline just to the northeast here, using this built up area as a position of cover. We can see around us with the FCR and our video system TADS out to about 8 Ks, so that gives us more. That's certainly close enough. Once we've cleared this area and the threat has been removed, we'll head back to FARP Berlin. We'll rearm, refuel if it's needed, which I'm sure it will be, and then we'll head forward using M1 com as a launch point to then nap of the earth fly and get eyes on Maykop and engage priority targets there. Right, that is your summary. And it's simple as that. Cool. Right. How do I get out of this? You know what I could do is I could just put a point of reference in here, but I won't bother. We want to get up and get going, don't we? Right. Cool. So I'm happy with that. That's showing 15 miles. Let's go out to 25. You've got the front view now, so you should be able to see me and my hands, etc. Let's put this onto our FCR. Let's get above. Let's get going. Now we've also got our friend George. George, are you there? Yes, he is. But I'm going to hold fire on George. I'm not going to let him have free rein. I want him to use the gun for 50 rounds if I tell him to. In fact, you know what? Actually, I'm going to let him use the laser missiles today, but he's on hold fire. I don't want him to do anything else. Okay, let's reduce that, and we're looking at 12 miles, aren't we? So let's get up and let's get going.
Rotor RPM high.
Lovely. You'll note I haven't set a waypoint, purely and simply because southwest, wasn't it? Southwest. There we go. And see you later, boys. Let's. I see. I've got to get used to locking my head before I move my view. Let's put our lights on. We wouldn't. In real life, they wouldn't. I'll tell you now. 9 miles away. They just wouldn't bother. They'd have their lights on around the friendly air base, the FARP, the forward operating base, wherever they're out of. Of course they'll have their lights on, but around about now they would have turned them off. There would be no lights on. They'd all be off, pitch black. And more often than not, operations like this would be done at night. But there we go. That's where real life and DCS World separate. And as part of the program for DCS World, a lot of the developers, or a lot of the beta team, are actually Apache pilots and Apache operators, veterans, and I think actually one or two maybe possibly still serving, and sort of making sure they don't give away any sort of secrets, if you like. But the actual airframe is well known. It's been going around since late 60s, early 70s. I think it's early 70s actually. Now let's just have a quick check of our direction. There we go, we're heading in the right direction. That's good enough. At this stage we're going to arm our CMWS. We've still got that fuel transfer fail, and we're going to make our sight system the FCR. And have a quick scan in front of us. And we're going to keep it low. Oh, that's the other thing as well. I think I'm live streaming. It's showing that I'm live streaming, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone's watching. I don't know if there's anything in chat. And I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because when any of us get into DCS World and fire things up, it's never done and dusted in 5 minutes, is it? It's hours and hours and hours. And sometimes you just want to be able to capture. And it's an incredible amount of work going through all you know, hours and hours and hours of recorded work to try and find what you want to keep for prosperity. So a good way is to live stream it, and at least then it captures everything, and it's a lot easier to do it all in a one-er rather than sort of edited, etc. But you need a fairly powerful system to be able to do that for obvious reasons. Quick confidence check. There we go. So we're coming up to that built up area. We're going to cross the, we're going to go just to the east of this wood line, watching those pylons on the nose. Bit of a copse there. We'll just go around that. We want to stay fairly low. There's the stream on the F10, and we want to keep going now in this direction until we come across the river, and we're looking for the built up area on the other side. Now I could have taken time out and just put the coord in, as I've done on one of my Apache videos. That would have been a lot easier to do for you, but it would just complicated matters. The great thing about this particular mission of 4YA and other missions like this that you can play in single player, like Through the Inferno and so on, is there's always things to do, so you can get as bogged down in as little or as much as you want to, basically. But you don't need to be completely and utterly realistic, or you can, you know, it's entirely up to you. Okay, we're coming towards the river now, and then we're going to head south. There's the track, or was it a track? It looked like a river to me. Let's just check. Yeah, river on the nose. A quick scan of our FCR. Okay, good. And there, I think, is the river in front of us. Is that the river there? I think that's the river over there. There's the river, or stream. Let's have a quick Okay, radar searching right in front of us. We're a bit too close than we needed to be. Now that's not good, is it? Because now we've picked up the radar searching. They're not tracking, but it's probably fair to assess we've probably been seen. So I'm going to put it down here, just keeping these trees and giving us a bit of cover here. And we're going to establish ourselves in a bit of a hover, and we will then assess the situation. Let's just go north of this river. Okay, cool. We're quite low. I don't know if I'm too fast or not. This is the auto hover mode. Hands are off, and it should establish quite a stable hover. We're too close to that tree, aren't we? I don't like that. Let's come back out of that. In fact, you know what? I'll tell you what I'll do. It will be easier just north of this river, just to put her down. Oh, that was a bit of a bang, wasn't it? Right, now let's reassess. Okay, so they've got some form of radar system there that they picked up. Well, we know that now, don't we? They've got some sort of radar here. They've got some sort of tracking system here. We're not far away, so I think we could probably pop ourselves up and probably take a look, see what we can see. Right, so for that, what we're going to do is we are going to change to our video source. So let's go to our TADs. Let's zoom in there. I'm going to change the contrast, and it might be easier for you to be in. Probably that for you, to be honest with you. So let's free our trim. Let's mind that tree in front of us. Gently, gently up we come. And remembering, of course, our radar is just above. Now there, to the left, we can see that. Okay, so it's picked up, the FCR has picked up wheeled vehicles, and we can actually zoom in. Actually, we can bring it all the way down here, and we can say, right, zoom in on that, and we can get it to scan again, and it should zoom back in. Yeah, so this is our next to shoot. So yeah, wheeled, and some form of armour, square being armour, I think. Yeah, so you know what, for now, what we can do is we can use the TADs, the video on the right hand side, we can link that, and therefore it will give us some form of eyes on. But we can see, because of the trees, we can't really see much. Sort of, you know what? Yeah, so we're picking up a radar searching. Yeah. Now, we've got a little button here called C-Scope, which allows us to see on our HUD whereabouts. So there we go. Just there. So you know what? We're picking up the fact they've got a radar, but if we can't see them, they can't necessarily not see us, but if we can't engage them, they certainly can't engage us. So you know what, let's just creep forward a bit here. Yeah, I'm tempted to do a sneaky, just pop up and see what we can see. Let's have another scan. Let's pop up, because we've already been given, it's a green light, weapons are free essentially, so that's the scenario that we've been given. This is an area that must be cleared. Now we don't want to be hanging around and making too much noise, but we need to. Yep, we can see we've now got eyes on tally on ground target. So you know what, let's let them know. But you know what, before we do, let's turn our bloody lights off, shall we? Let's let one go. Rifle. And while we're here, we'll make sure that our power is to all, that way we can ripple them. And rifle. We'll turn our C-scope off. Good. And let's have another scan. That'll do me. And we can see him running around now, scurrying around. Next to shoot. Rifle. Next to shoot. Next to shoot. Yep. We'll have... no. Now, at this point, we'll let George have a play. So, George, what can you see? Let's take it off of link. And George, what can you see over there, old chap? We've just told him to have a look there. Okay. Let's zoom in closer with the TADs. And again. And again. Yeah, that's not on fire. There's a vehicle behind him, so he can engage that. Let's laze it. And consent to fire. George, fire. Rifle.
Engaging.
One away. Keeping our eye on it. Time of flight 3 seconds. Range 2 miles. 2 miles.
Lasers off.
Okay, shack. Next. George, what else do you see? Infantry, infantry, infantry. Low priority. We'll deal with them afterwards. Paratrooper, definitely low priority to my paramates. So Land Rover, let's find that, George. Zoom in on it. Zoom in on it. Hellfire it. One away, George.
Laser on. Firing.
Rifle. One away.
Lasers off.
Good man, George. And you know what? Let's change George now to use the guns, 50 rounds, and we'll now make him come up with our infantry lads. That'll do, George.
Tracking target.
Engage. Bang goes the 240. Guns, guns, guns. I wouldn't want to be in, would you? Jesus Christ. Okay, while we're engaging them and making their lives misery, let's engage. Now we know that the main threat has been removed. We're going to ruin their day, unfortunately, with some rockets. Area weapon.
Radar searching.
Oh, that'll keep their head down if nothing else, for sure. And we're just short of 2 Ks away, so you know they're not going to be engaging us with AKs. If anything, in real life, they wouldn't be standing there. I'll tell you now, they'd be on the death run right now. They'd be gone. But you know, this isn't real life, is it? So they stand in the middle of a patch and sort of let us kill them. The AI is pretty good, actually. The AI is pretty good. It could be better, to be honest. Let's pop him down. I want you to look there, George. It could be better. Like, you know, it'd be nice to see him bomb burst now. Let's just let him take that. And I'm going to give you free fire now, George.
Roger, engaging. Target destroyed.
Yep. Well done. Guns, guns, guns. Infantry
Roger,
there.
engaging.
Take him out.
Those are good hits.
Good, good, good. Come on, George. And him.
Engaging.
Take him out. Oh, Jesus Christ. Honestly. What a mess that would be down there right now.
Engaging.
Holy
Good effects,
moly.
good effects.
And let's oh, there's an Ural there. Let's take the Ural out. Now we don't want to get too close. We already see the paras down there engaging us. Let's extend away a bit. Alright, George, back with you, old chap.
Radar searching.
Come on, George, let's finish him off.
Deslaving.
Take him out. Guns, guns, guns.
Target destroyed.
Next.
Engaging.
Machine gun man. Should have had him as a priority, shouldn't we?
Those are good hits.
And the next.
Firing.
Yes.
Those are good hits.
Yeah, good hits, good hits. Alright, George. Well done, George. We might have to do some trim training with you after this. Alright, lad. Keep it steady now. What else can you see, George? Scan around for me. What do you see, George?
Deslaving.
There's a paratrooper. C-scope. Whereabouts?
Engaging. Good effects, good effects.
Oh dear. Absolute carnage down here. Let's now switch to guns. And we're now going to do a quick BDA of this particular area. A lot of stake down there. A lot of stake. Alright. I'd say this particular area is clear. Yeah, area clear. Okay. Let's go back to our TSD. And let's go route, I believe, waypoint 1. But let's check that.
Radar searching.
We don't really want to hang around. Oh, there's an RPG left. Look. Yeah, that's the other thing as well in real life, is that the enemy aren't tagged. You don't actually know where they are on a battle map like that. So there's an RPG bloke down here. That's not good. We need to rid him for absolute sure. Absolutely no question.
And slaving. I'm deslaved. And slave. I'm
Radar
deslaved.
searching.
There he is. RPG.
Engaging.
Ah.
Target destroyed.
Okay, let's there's a lot of people on this map. There's, frames
We're
have
making
dropped.
progress. We just took over Gudada. You can now spawn there.
Okay, cool. Alright, cool. Happy with that. Let's put that back to TSD. Whoops. TSD. Whoops. Back to video. Back to TSD. No, video. TADS.
Intel just in. Flankers are taking off.
No
from the enemy
video.
carrier. Location southwest of Anapa.
Co-pilot helmet.
Take out the
Co-pilot
enemy fleet
sight.
as soon as you can.
But we don't want any video. No video. Okay, cool. That's a bit better. Right.
Radar searching. Radar searching.
Alright, let's head back to FARP Berlin. Pretty buster. Nap of the Earth flying. Let's go. Let's get out of here. We've been around here far too long.
Radar searching. Radar
Oh, we don't
searching.
really want to be up here, do we? Let's try and trim that into position. Like that. I don't really want to be up here. But I didn't make a note of what waypoint the FARP is. Let's work that out very quickly. Okay. FARP Berlin. This is FARP Berlin. Nothing. Okay. We've got it on the TSD anyway. It's Coalition Area 93. This is where we want to be, on the ground. Yeah, we just touched a wheel down then. Brilliant. Okay, I'm off station now. Let's put our nav lights back on. For our friendly forces, we wouldn't actually. We'd wait until we were right on the perimeter, but there we go. And I'll activate now my identification squawk. Cool. Bog damn it, bog damn it. We don't want to fly into those, do we? Right, now let's reassess, shall we? Yeah, okay, it's C93, yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah, what I should have done was just made a point, shouldn't I? Simple as that, should have just made a point. It would have been a lot easier. It's good practice to do that, where you take off from. Again, I didn't, I was in a flow. Never mind. That's why I say, you know, for those of you who have got sort of operational service, you've got to look at sims like this, and there aren't many. It's as simple as that. And I'd say DCS is the very best of them. You've got to enjoy learning the actual simming aspect of it, the flight model, what does what in the actual cockpit, how you operate the weapon systems and navigation, etc. Learn to fly it, navigate and fight in it in that order, and only in that order. But you've got to sort of, a bit like watching a war film. You've got to take a lot of stuff with a pinch of salt, essentially, and look at it as artistic license. There is no such thing as a sim out there that's you know, super realistic. They just don't exist. This is about as realistic as you're going to get for the flight model, because it's had so much influence from real pilots and real operators. But as for the actual missions, yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's some really great missions out there, and some that try very hard to replicate, complete with voice acting and everything, try and replicate real life, but rarely do they come up to scratch, really. And that's quite surprising, because a lot of the sort of people who do this are people with operational experience. But as I said, there is a certain amount of artistic license. There is our FARP on the nose. We'll come in low to the ground, and you know, for
Radar searching.
you know, gently on the stick, you know, fingers. I'm flying it with 2 fingers, and that's all you need to be. And if you're flying for any sort of distance or speed, don't try and fly nose to tail, because look, you will forever be chasing the path vector. You know, accept aerodynamics for what it is, which is that helicopters rarely fly in a straight line. So aerodynamic trim is the way to go for long distances. If you're flying nap of the earth, sod aerodynamic trim. You want the tail to follow the nose, and it's as simple as that. So here's our FARP. We didn't ask permission to land, and let's assume that permission is given. But what we're going to do now, as per our plan, is we are going to land here, assess any damage, and then we're going to head south and make some trouble at Maykop. Look, where are we going to land? I think we can land anywhere.
Radar searching.
Let's put our landing light on. You can see in the pit there, the light actually come on at the bottom there. We're going to land there into wind. You can see the windsock there, which is why we're being pushed back. So let's head into wind. Should have come in from the other side, but not a problem. And I can feel the difference in the. I can feel the difference on side on. That's for sure. So let's have a look actually on our MPD. So it says calm. Usually that's anything less than about 10 knots. Let's spin her around. And let's pop her down. You can see the landing light on there. And let's pop her down in front of that. Yeah, I can feel the wind. Let's try and get a bit close to the fuel. Yeah, I can feel that. Alright, let's pop her down.
Radar searching.
Alright, we're down.
Rotor RPM low.
Cool, crikey, tail up again. Okay, cool. Let's now rearm, reorg. And you know what we could do is we could fire up the APU. We could fire up the APU here. And there we can see the APU is powering on. We'll turn our strobe light off so we don't get in trouble with the ground crew. Keep our navigation lights on. And then what we can do now is reduce our power to the aircraft. and the power being generated with the system at idle and the APU is enough for us to be able to sit here with our rotors down in speed and then rearm and refuel. Open our door if we want. And I don't think we didn't go to safe, did we? That was bad form. Right, let's rearm, refuel. Okay, so this is where we've got to use the mouse. So what are we going to do? Do you know what? I think that's quite on this particular map. You can't just load up with shitloads of 8 missiles at most. So I've got 4 laser and 4 RF, and the rest rockets. And I think that's pretty much all right. Now, interestingly enough, I'm quite concerned about this fuel situation. I'm quite concerned. Let me pop that up. I'm quite concerned about this fuel situation. Oh, of course we're on here, aren't we? Let's pop our fuel up to about 80%. More ammo, please. Now let's have a look at this left MFD.
Request rearming.
Yeah.
Copy.
Now, what have I done wrong? I'm not sure if I've done anything wrong. I don't think I have actually. We can see it's fueling, but we're still showing in the warning and caution area fuel transfer fail. But I have been transferring. That much is clear. So
Refueling complete.
yeah, we don't want to be doing that. We want to be on auto. And I'm on normal for the crossfeed. Does it need boost? I wouldn't have thought so. It's not activating anyway. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure at all. Yeah.
Rearming complete.
Okay, rearming's complete. We see our lasers and our kilos. We're going to keep it exactly as it was before. We're basically good to go. Alright, perfect time I think to have a little bit of a break. Yes, legends. Let's have a break. Welcome back, legends. Right, okay. Oh, what was it now? Waypoint. I just looked at it on the map. I think it's waypoint 9. Let's have a look. Waypoint 9 is where we're going to go. So, as I said before, we're going to head southeast via the command center, or the command group that we just took out there. We'll use that as a launch pad, although right now, to be honest with you, it's probably swarming with enemy, finding out what the hell's happened there. So we probably wouldn't use that as a launch point. Certainly not going back to it like this. But you know what? Like I said, artistic license, for the love of God. Otherwise, actually, we'd probably go to this area en masse and pick up any secondary targets in real life. For now, though, look, we just need to go to waypoint 9. That's going to be, I don't know, 20k, something like that. We'll find out in a minute in the TSD. And I think our strategy should be to observe at maximum distance of the FCR, being 8 miles. So we'll probably end up using some of these areas here as a bit of cover. Right, let's jump back in the pit. Cool, we've rearmed and refueled. Let's just check. Yes, we've rearmed. There we go. We don't need to rebore sight or anything else. We will need to redo our ASE. No, we don't. It's already armed. Good. Auto page is off. ROWR is on 2. That's good. And our FCR. Now, this is almost cheating, I suppose, but the best thing to say is, and we do have systems like this that will be able to tell our close air support whether there was a threat from fast air, obviously. And we can see here there are no threats from fast air. On these servers, there are fast air about, trust me. There are some enemy fast airs, enemy F-15 down there. And if they pick you up, they'll come running. And it's likely that F-15 there at 27,000 feet, it is likely that when I start making noise here that fast air comes along. But from here to there, we're pretty good. And we've got no enemy that has been seen or plotted along this route, but we don't know. So we'll be using the FCR to give us some scanning protection, if you like, in front of us as we go along, and intersperse that with scanning, using it in the air mode as well. Okay, cool. So waypoint 9, I think we said, didn't we? So let's pop that up. We want to go route, we want to go direct, and we want to go to waypoint 9. There we go. So on our IADs, on our upfront display there, on our integrated helmet augmented display system, we should have some waypoint information. There we go, 44k's. So we want to get to about, let's say 35k's and sneak forward. We're in k's there. We can change that to nautical miles, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it as k's. So we're going to get to 35k's and then we're going to start seeing what we can see. Let's change George on the ground. His priority will be laser missiles. We're going to take him off of free fire. And pop that out of the way. We're going to take him out off of free fire. And that's us pretty much ready to go. So all we need to do now is we need to shut our door, which we've done. We need to increase our throttle levers. Up, there you go. And of course we now need to turn our APU off. APU is off. Close the hatch, and that's us ready to go. Let's take off, and then we'll arm the helicopter. We'll put our strobe on so that everyone on the ground knows we're just about to take off. And we weren't going to rotate, not rotate, but we're going to yaw to the left. And we can see there the home plate symbol, which is an incorrect term actually. I've seen it in so many manuals. It's not home plate, it's a waypoint. Waypoint is not a home plate. A home plate is where we are right now. Anyway, that's where we want to go. whilst I can feel myself being drifted away by the wind. Just going to try and arrest that, but I'm going to try and, whilst we're here, just try and manually hold that as best I can whilst we arm the aircraft. Marble on a tray, marble on a tray, da na 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 na, that'll do me. Right, let's go. We can see the heading marker up there, up on the heading marker. Yeah, the heading marker on the heading tape, which is the carrot, the open carrot, 192 degrees. And let's now put that on our FCR. Let's make that the site of interest. And
Searching. Radar searching.
and the radar searching doesn't tell us whether that's friendly forces or not. Now this is where we want to choose our route carefully. And as we can see, you know, we've got a bloody great big wood right in front of us.
Radar searching.
So we're going to look for a gap somewhere. Helicopters and trees in general terms don't get on unless they're this side of them. Above them is not where they really want to be. Certainly not skimming the tops. Once you can get away with it in a sim, you hit the top of a tree with the undercarriage on a helicopter, you're in for a bad day. So it's just not an area of risk that pilots are going to go to. They just simply won't. They'd fly above trees, absolutely, but it would be a fair amount. And I've spent thousands and thousands of hours in the back of helicopters and on a few privileged occasions in the front seat. But I can tell you, one thing's that helicopter pilots are masters at, and that is risk assessments, risk analysis. They don't even think, it's just natural to them when it comes to understanding risks as they're flying, which of course is reduced by their experience, training, so on, so on, and so on. Okay, let's just trim that down as best we can, and let's see whether we can hold that altitude. It's possible. I think we'll be alright, yeah.
Radar searching.
Now you'll notice that the distance to waypoint 9 is counting down. So we said, look, we want to be about 8k short of the objective. So we want to get that down to about 8k before we start sort of looking and being very careful with regards to the threat posed to us. So we're going to have a quick scan for this open area to know if there's anything in the tree line. Nope.
Radar searching.
I think we're going to end up coming to the pushing to the east of this tree line. I don't really want to go over the trees. Pylons in front of us. Caution. There's a route there by the looks of things, but separated by the pylons to our nose, right, to our 12 o'clock. Nothing on FCR, good. Now we are being spiked, we can see that on the TSD. I'm going to pop these up for you so you can see it. On the right hand side there, see the straight line. So let's go to our air targeting mode and let's change that to 180. And we're currently scanning up to about 3,000 feet. We're not picking up anything, and it's fairly limited, obviously, up to 5,000 feet. And the numbers at the bottom there is the area of the radar cone that we're currently scanning. So 2,439 feet to 5,362. Let's go up a bit more. 4,755 to 7,767. Nothing. But look on our TSD on our right, on the right hand side there, you can see there are 3 aircraft it's picking up. We're not seeing them because we're only going to pick out to about 8 Ks. Now these aircraft will fire off missiles to you depending on their altitude, anything up to about 40 K. So we really are limited, and this is where you've got to, again, you know, for those of you who are veterans or serving soldiers, this is where you've got to then use that little bit of artistic license, and you've got to give yourself a checkup. You've got to eat a bit of humble pie. And so for me, F12, F10, I'm looking at the map there. Are there any air threats to me? No, they're not. Let's stay this eastern side of this tree line. Just see a message actually. I think I just see it. I've just moved the chat during the break down to my centre screen here from Dingo. Is it Dingo? It's too bloody small for me to see. I think it's Dingo actually. Is it Dingo? I don't know. I can't see. Yeah, there's Pilgrim, Mini Tiger there. He likes what he sees with the MFDs. Yeah, transparent. In this view only. In the wide view there, you can see them as they would be in colour. But I think for the main view, very, very useful that you can watch a stream or watch a recording or do a mission, share it with others, and they can still see what's going on because obviously it's white. I think that's pretty useful. Quick reminder what we're doing. We're going to stop 8 Ks short of Maykop, and we're going to see what we can see and engage targets. It's a weapons-free area,
Radar searching.
so it's fair game. Now, because I've just checked on the F10 map, and I'm going to call that as some form of blue forward tracker, we know there's no air threat, so radar tracking to me says to me that it's a ground threat, so let's focus on that. And let's there we go, fine, that's cool. Alright, so what did Dingo say? Let's see. Dingo, I recently discovered your channel, very, very useful to learn the Apache. I don't have a collective. Can I see your axis configuration please? Yeah, absolutely, sure. And on the side here you can see you know, I'm using my throttle because Hor-Che is for the Hornet too. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to fly the 2 of my most favourite aircraft ever, the Hornet and the Apache. And Tiger in the chat there will know that firsthand. He's my eldest son, so he will know exactly what these 2 aircraft mean to me. It's more, you know, there's something about each of them. You know, I've been lucky and privileged to receive, you know, air support from both these platforms on operations as a soldier in many years. I said many years, you know, what is it, 11 years, bloody hell, I've been retired 11 years. But so to fly the Hornet and operate it, and to fly and operate the Apache in the greatest simulation that exists, which is DCS, is for me not a game. It is in some private sort of way me showing huge respect to those who do it for real life, in trying to learn these complex systems and utilize it in a sim environment. There you go. So that's why I'm not using a collective. I'm on the side view, aren't I? Yeah, that's why I'm not using a collective. That is why, trim that, I'm using my throttle here, and I'm using it back as if it was me lifting the collective, and forward as if it was lowering the collective. And for the collective, here's the thing, that's linear. There's no curve on that collective at all. I want it to be linear. I want, in fact, let's go to the south here. I want it to do exactly, I want to be in control. I don't want to be fanning around wondering where I am on the curve, the exponential curve, when it comes to the collective. So the collective is linear. The stick, however, is not. And the shorter the stick is, the more in general terms the more curve you are going to want. Otherwise it's going to be too twitchy. The longer the stick, the less the curve, because you've got natural you know, by virtue of the size of the stick, the size of the stem, you will have natural curve built in, purely simply because of the resolution. And by that I mean that the resolution of a stick that, say, is mounted on the floor with a bloody great big long stem, your accuracy is that much more fine-tuned. Whereas my stick, the base is here, so I've only got a little tiny bit of throw, so I use a curve. This is no different than flying, say, an M2 hobby or a radio control helicopter, which is really small, and then transition into a helicopter that's really big. Your stick inputs are your stick inputs. You know, a little tiny movement on your transmitter to the left is a little tiny movement to the left, no bigger, no different than if it was an M2 hobby or a Saab Kraken 700. It's going to be exactly the same. You can't put a curve into your finger, but you can put a curve into your transmitter, and you usually find the smaller the radio control helicopter, the bigger the curve, because the bigger the helicopters are, the more hang time they have. In theory and in practice true, the easier they are to control. So in summary, I don't have a curve on the throttle, I do on the stick, and I think off the top of my head saturation is 100%, and I think actually it's at about 15, and I think I've gone 15 pitch, 15 roll, and also 15 on the pedals. The pedals I'm using are Skywalkers with a damper, range 9 miles. Just in front of us is, let's have a quick look around now. We don't really want to go any further than 8 miles, 8 Ks. 1.8 Ks to nautical miles, so we're well within range. So I'm going to release the trim. I don't want to come up too high.
Rotor RPM high.
And I'm going to
Radar searching. Radar searching.
I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to hold it here. In fact, I'm going to come down a little bit. Gently, 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 gently. Just give me the trees as a little bit of cover, and then we will hold it here. Just hold it there. Gently, 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 gently. Jolly good. Let's get rid of that. Let's have it on there. Gently, 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 gently. I'm going to trim that, and we're going to hold that altitude. And it does that very, very carefully. It does that very well, in that it's not going to hold it rock solid. I'm still going to have to hold it into position, but altitude wise it should be fine. Now let's put our FCR on. Cross, I'm still scanning, I didn't realise that. Right. No, we're not seeing anything. Now let's put George down and see what he can see. I doubt he can see anything through those trees, but you know what?
Slaving.
Let's ask if he can see anything using the TADS, the FCR, etc. All the systems. It's unlikely he's going to be able to see anything. No, I don't think he can. So let's creep forward. Let's creep forward. Let's take our altitude hold off the SCAS, and let's just gently, gently. I'm going to watch these trees. Got a line of fucking trees all along here. Let's I don't really want to. God, bloody trees. Up we go. Let's see. Yeah, see, Maykop is in just dead ground towards the sea. So actually, oh look at, I don't really want to go any further forward than this. Now some of you DCS diehards will be like, come on Tiger, bloody get in there, you know, you can be 5k's away. Like I said, everyone does it differently, and for me it's never just a case of just get in and do it. I always try to do it as realistic as possible to a certain extent. It's a balance between how much time you've got and what it is you want to achieve. But we're not picking up anything. Let's dump George down, see if he can see anything.
Radar searching.
Okay, he has. Right, well, for a start, let's get rid of any command and control. There. We've got the early warning radar. We're going to take that out. Right, let's go to our site page. And let's go to video straight away. TADS. Right. George, zoom in. And again. And again.
Radar
I'm going to pop up.
Target lost.
Radar searching.
He lost it. He lost it. There it is. There it is. Track.
Blazing.
Fire. Rifle. Come on, George. Come on. Come on. Come on. Look, we're 8,628. So if I move forward, as soon as we're in range, he will take that out. But we're dicing with death. We really are. I'm going to take him off a free fire.
Radar tracking.
Yeah, tracking. Let's come on, George. Come on, George. Tell me he's within range. Tell me he's within range.
In range. Ready to launch.
Rifle.
Engaging.
What was that noise? Did you hear a noise? Sounded like something had been fired at me.
Radar tracking.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, something did fire at me. Just missed me. Okay, we've got some drama here, right on the nose.
Lost sight of target.
But that was Maykop engaging us there. Did we take out that early warning radar? I think we did.
Searching.
We've got to be very, very careful. 6.3 miles away, or K's away from the waypoint. But, of course, the enemy are split up everywhere. Let's scan again.
Radar searching. Radar searching.
Come on, George. What can you see?
Lasers off.
Yeah, it's still good. Let's zoom in, George. And again. And again. Track it.
Blazing. Firing.
Rifle. Now, it didn't take it out because this is laser, and we've got to maintain a lock on that all the way. Laser hellfires, in general terms, are more accurate. The radar guided, after a certain period of time, it will determine its own target. It will very happily zip from the target. All right, we've got. Oh, damn you! There it is.
Radar tracking.
There's my program.
Lasers off. Target destroyed.
Yeah, we hit it. Good. So let's extend back to the north again. I knew this would be... Oh, Christ, that was close. Yeah, so they know I'm here now. And the fact that I've got my nav lights on still, I don't think is the reason why they know I'm here.
Radar
They know I'm here because they've got radar. And, of course, they know
Radar searching.
now that I'm targeting their command and control systems that they've got at Maykop. It'd be very easy to go for the tanks and go for the launchers and go for the other things like that, which are worth more when it comes to points. Yes, there are points in this. For those of you who are not from DCS World, there are points values in this, but that's not realistic. Command and control, air, command and control. That is the priority of any modern day ownership of a battle space. Air superiority, command the air, and then destroy command and control. And if you can do both of that at the same time, then I'm not going to say it'll be easy, but you have significantly brought some damage to the enemy by doing that. These are launchers. I'm after anything that's a EW. I'm after anything that's electronic warfare or there. Now that is a that is an issue. Let's see what we can see. Let's go to our site. Yeah, that there, that is a seeking radar for the SAMs. So
Laser on.
we want to track that target. I'm gonna tell George, free fire. It would be easy for me to just take over now and just fire off some RF and just cause some hassle. But you know what? I've been practicing lately using George in a sort of semi-tactical sense at the same time as myself. So, for example, engaging. Away he goes. Great. Engaging targets using the FCR and missiles at the same time. Dumping George down on a target area and him using guns either on the same target or other targets at the same time. Yeah, just in smoke above us, so they know we're coming in this direction. You've got to be careful you don't remove the laser from the target, but look, come on, and I'm trying to come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I want you to fire again, George.
Lasers off.
Yes,
Good
beauty.
effect.
Oh Christ, right above us. We're very, very lucky here.
Radar tracking.
Now we've taken out their EW, we've taken out their early warning, we've taken out their seeking radar. Let's get some distance away from it again. Bloody hell's fire. Really, do you know what? We should come in from a different angle. We don't want to keep ingressing from the same angle. Which is no different than, you know, soldiers. You keep shooting from the same place, you're going to be a world of hurt. So, yeah, let's come back from. Let's see what we can see over here. Okay, let's use this as an egress point, an ingress point. Okay, now
Radar searching.
I'm going to fire some off now with our FCR. There's some armoured vehicles there, and look, the FCR is brilliant because it will prioritise targets based upon the threat. So anything that's a triangle there is an air threat. So you know what? I'm going to say I'll have that one. Rifle. Now we're on to armoured. Rifle. 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 And they're radar guided, so they've got their own radar in the nose. They've already just shot at me again. The fact that I'm still in the air is bloody bizarre. Normally I'd be flying with mates or with Tiger there in the chat, and they'd be telling me, bloody hell, you need to get out of here. I'm messing with fire essentially, but I try to sort of change the way in which the
Radar searching.
helicopter presents itself, either by slewing or whatever. I never, ever, ever. I'd rather put it on the ground than sit in a hover. I'm not a pilot, but I've been around pilots and helicopters all my life, and I know one thing: a stationary helicopter is a dead helicopter. There's no such thing as an Apache that just sits there. They're always either slewing to the side, or they're always moving. and I try to do the same thing. It's not because I can't get into an hover. Of course I bloody can. What do you think this is? I can get it into it. I can press the auto hover and everything else, but that's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. In real life, it's not how it's. They don't go, well, we can't engage them targets till I'm in a hover. They want to engage, and then they want to get out of there as quickly as possible and from maximum distance. Okay, I'm just trying to think myself now what screen you're on. Whether, yeah, okay, so right, now let's dump him down. Let's see what he sees. So there's a launcher, there's a Tunguska. Let's take that out. Let's take that out. Track it, fire on it. Oh, I think we're a bit too far. Let's, and that is, I think, what's been ruining my day, is the Tunguska. Let's, I think he's got one more left, hasn't he? Let's just check. Yes, one more, look, we got one more. Let's take that Tunguska out. Anyone who knows anything about DCS World, oh come on, bloody hell. I'm going to try and side this. Let's see whether we see the missile go past us. Yeah, it just did. You see it? Time of flight, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. 7 seconds, come on, come on. Come on, I don't want to mask it too much. Did it hit? No. Oh, damn. Oh, look. Did it hit? I think it hit. Come on quickly. Get down, get gone. Goodness gracious me. Now, let's gain some range. And let's see what's occurring.
Can't see the target.
No, don't worry about that, George. I don't think we've got the weapons to deal with anything else. Yeah, as I said, I never, ever, ever put it into a hover. Simple as that. Not an auto hover. If you can't hold it at an altitude manually, then really, in my view, you shouldn't. Oh, I'll tell you shouldn't. I mean, Christ, you know, it's at the end of the day, for the uninitiated, it's a game. But you should be able to hover this manually, and doesn't necessarily mean the speed is 0. If anything, it wants to be something. You should be able to fly this at level altitude, slow, and be in control of it, and still look where you need to. And if you can't, then you got problems. You need to go back to training. And you do, simple as that. Right, there's a KS-90. Bloody hell's fire. Now, if that helicopter was in a auto hover, if that helicopter, if our helicopter here had been,
no air visibility on target.
Had been, you know, in a altitude hold and attitude hold, we'd have been dead. We would have been dead, no question. The reason why that missed us was because I was holding a hover and moving the helicopter was moving. When that missile was fired, simulated tow that was, out to 8 miles, let me tell you, I know a fair few that have fired tow missiles in my time, and I'm not just talking about from a helicopter, also, you know, the old days of Milan and so on. And let me tell you, the further away it is, the more difficult it is. That is a piece of wire, 2 wires you're controlling that missile with. There's, let's say, as I don't tell you the films, is it? The amount of wire that's on a battlefield from the amount of missiles that have been fired that are towed, tracked, optically wire guided. So if I had been in a hover, I would have been a goner. Simple as that. But because I was holding altitude and slow speed, enabled us to not not be killed. Enabled us not to be killed. We are going to go back to FARP Berlin. Let's have a quick look where we need to go. There it is there. And we're going to say 015. So 015. In fact, I'd say about, we're on the nose actually. And let's take that off of there. Let's put that back down to TSD. And let's get rid of the video there for you so that doesn't ruin your day. TADS, no video. In fact, okay, TADS.
Radar searching.
Pilot flight, no video, back to TSD. There we go. Crikey, I think I'm still scanning. Good. There we go, fixed. Good. I think I've received some damage on the FCR. We'll get back to the FARP and then we'll have a review of that. I think there is definitely some damage there. Absolutely no question of that. Do you think the fact, Legends, that I've still got my spotlight on, do you think that also gave me away as well? I think probably, yeah. Bloody hell's fire. I reckon that gave me away, yeah. So plan is back to FARP Berlin. We're going to load up with 8 RF missiles and some rockets, and we're going to power the lot and we're going to salvo the lot out there. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to decimate that entire area. And if I have to come back and do it again, I will. But using George and the TADS, we should be able to identify, and the C-scope on the FCR, we should be able to see what I've already engaged. And that is providing the aircraft isn't damaged. We've had a few missiles go off around us. One of them went quite near the FCR. The FCR, as we can see, is having problems scanning right now. That sometimes can be fixed with a reboot, but to me it looks like it could well be damaged. I'm not going to check at the minute. That's simply asking for trouble. But we won't be engaging anything with a dodgy FCR.
Radar searching.
I'm picking up 2 unknown aircraft on the TSD. You can see that there. Let's go to the attack phase and get rid of that wind info. And there's our coalition point 93, which is where we're going to. I wonder whether air targeting mode. Yeah, I'm not scanning. I'm wondering whether I've got. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Okay, so air targeting mode is fine. Now that might be good enough to reset it. Let's see. Ground target mode. Oh, stop scanning. Stop scanning. Ground target mode. Scan. Yeah. So the FCR is broken. I've broken it. The tech is going to be. The cone heads are going to be fuming with me. But I've broken the. I've broken the FCR in ground targeting mode. Not a problem. That's why they're tech heads. That's why they're cone heads. They'll fix it. We'll get a new one. We'll get back to FARP Berlin. We'll have a break, and then we'll get a new one. What a fantastic Sunday! As I said, the other reason for live streaming this is, you know, if it's useful to someone, that's great. But you know, it adds the other content to my channel, which is about DCS World or you know, simulated helicopters and radio control helicopters, and I can fly for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. I can fly for as long as I like, and it's captured on YouTube, rather than flying for 3 or 4 hours, putting together a video of snippets, etc., which just eats into time. You know, I've always said that YouTube is not my hobby. My hobby is this. You know, YouTube is part of it, but YouTube, I'm not. You know, I don't do this for YouTube. This is what I do. YouTube is a way in which I can record it. Anyway, enough of that. Bloody old drivel. Right. Okay, so we're about, I'd say, about 12k, something like that. Yeah, that FCR is buggered. I'm going to pin it and see whether gonna pin it. I'm gonna stow it. Oh, whoops. Come on, where's my stow button? Why isn't my stow button coming up? I can't even change the scale. I can change the scheme. Interesting. It really is buggered. No, it's not. It's because I had it activated. Trying to do this and fly at the same time is interesting. Okay, it's not stowing. Okay, no dramas. Well, it's going to be taken off and replaced. I'm sure that takes, you know, I can do it in here in a minute and a half or whatever it is, but real life, I don't even know. I don't even know. But I'll tell you what we can do, which again, real life wouldn't happen. Not coming back anyway. But I can. I'll tell you what I can do. Let me turn this around. I can say, right, left, right, right. I've armed them, ready to jettison. Let's go. F2 and jettison. Away they go. And this means that the helicopter is lighter, essentially. Means I can go further with what I've got. How's our fuel? Let's check our fuel. Fuel. So we've still got that error for fuel transfer in the EUFD. We still don't know what that means, but we've still got it. Tell you what though, wasn't that good, the old program working like that on both occasions? Could well have prevented a bit of nastiness for me. There's the FARP on the nose, and we're going to come in, do a circuit and land into air. I'm going to pop that to our flight info. And we're going to...
Aircraft's armed.
I'll put our landing light on now. Now you can put your landing light on, you idiot. I don't know why, but
Aircraft.
it won't go to safe.
Aircraft's armed.
Interesting. I'm going to give myself a break and say, well, you know what? You're on safe. Now, we've released trim. We need to ID. There's the windsock. Okay. There's the ground effect. Where's the bloody windsock? Oh, there it is. I've gone past it. Let's bring her around. And we're going to pop her down just here. There we go. Good. We're down as normal. Let's pop this away. Let's open our APU cover. Let's get our APU going.
Radar searching.
APU is ready. And now let's reduce our rotors. Now I think I'm going to have to actually rearm and refuel and repair. Let's have a quick look outside. Let's have a quick look. I don't see any damage. Do you, Legends? I didn't see any damage at all. Not at all. I didn't see anything. What to do? Let's turn our FCR off. Let's turn it off. We'll go for a reboot. In the meantime, let's rearm, refuel. Let's shut the door. Let's yeah, we want to go with the L's now, which are the radar, and I'm going to go full view this time. I'm going to go a bit heavy. That's what we're going to do there. We're going to rearm, and whilst we're doing that, we'll have another break. Fantastic, brilliant. See you when you get back. Welcome, legends. Right, we're back. Here we are in the F10 map view, and I've just been looking at what's going on here. We've got some enemy fighters, Su-33, MiG-23, Su-33 there, 15. Got a Scott in Colt 1-1 and F-14 that's currently merging, it looks like. In fact, no, he's low at 6,500 feet. The F-15 is at 30,000 feet, 29.5. So I'm looking at here and I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? Instead of coming in the same egress angle, I'm thinking about coming southwest to Belochensk. In fact, we can change the. In fact, no, we can't change the. Yes, we can. Let's go to satellite view. So, thinking about going down to Belochensk, using. Yeah, it's so limited, but staying north of these built-up areas, staying north into EK87, north of Dzierżynskaya, into before Belochensk, and see what we can see there, and sort of engage from there. I had nothing. I had no cover whatsoever. We were engaging from here, and it was just ridiculous. It was too dangerous. I think I was lucky. So that's what we're going to do. Right, let's go back to the cockpit. Cool. Quick check. Let's have a quick check of our systems now. Our weapon, we're loaded with our 8 radar missiles and rockets. That's a limitation of this particular mission. Keeping it 1,000 ranges for the guns. And what else? Rockets are still at 12, and I'm still at 100 for the guns. And we haven't got to rebore sight it because we haven't shut down, and we've kept it at 1,000 meters. ASE we're keeping exactly as it was. Worked for me well. Auto page is off. That's good. Onto the FCR. Let's see whether it fixes. Sorry. Let's see whether it fixes. Override. RFI isn't working yet. That's radio frequency intercept, which I think RFI is some form of jamming system. But it's not implemented yet. It's on the roadmap, but it's not implemented. I'm going to keep it as Scheme A, which is stationary over mobile and air. Bravo Scheme B is priority for moving targets over stationary and air, and C is air targets priority over moving and stationary. So I'm going to keep it at Scheme A. Right, I'm content with that. We won't be able to check the FCR whether it's scanning correctly until we get off the ground, and make it the site of interest, or the sensor of interest. Right, so let's is the door shut? Yeah, the doors are shut. Let's now ramp up our rotors. Good. Let's now turn our APU off, and let's shut the cover. Good. Okay, note to self, you still got your bloody landing light on, and your navigation lights are on as well. Okay, so let's and we're going to the same waypoint. Well, we're not, because we're going to go southeast, aren't we? But you know what I mean. Okay, let's up she comes. Up she comes. IAD's on. We don't even need the IADs on, actually, to be honest with you, because we can fly very easily like that.
Radar searching.
That'll do us. Away we go. So let's take our landing light off. Beyond the bounds of the FARP.
Searching.
We'll master arm and arm our systems there. We'll make the FCR a site of interest, ground targeting mode. We're being tracked. We can see that on the right hand side there. Making sure what view you're in. Yeah, you can see that on the right hand side. We're being tracked by something. There's nothing on the ground at 8Ks. FCR is working fine. Let's trim that into position and turn to air targeting mode. Scanning up to 3,000 feet. Just in front of us. Yeah, look how many jets we've got in front of us there. Loads. Far too many. Slightly worrying. Let's go into the weeds a little bit. Lovely. Bloody trees.
Radar searching.
Hell's fire. Now, let's, I'm not going to say cheat, because there are systems in real life that enable us to do this. So let's see what, if anything, is... See, there's no air threats to me. MiG-31 and Su-33 down to the south with a two MiG-31s, two Su-33s. Oh, bit of a jump there. So, I think we go back to ground targeting mode and we stay low. That's what we're going to do. And I think at this point, I'm going to say I'm going to fence in, so lights off. It might make a difference this time, you never know. I doubt it, but it might do. We could ask George to look out there for us, actually. Look out there, George, and you can see on the right hand side there that cursor move. That's where George is looking. And if there was anything there, he would have told us. We'll take him off of that for a start. Let's make sure we arm him on the Hellfires, just in case. In fact, no, we're going to arm him with the guns. We're going to take control of the missiles. But this is another strategy, as well as using the FCR. Is and we've got it fixed at the minute. But I mean, I can change that. So. So, for example, if I change that to pilot helmet sight, then whenever I move my head, the FCR will move in that direction as well, and I can scan in that direction. And there are lots of strategies, you know. Like I said, I'm not a helicopter pilot, never have been. But when you start scanning in that area, it will just keep scanning in that area, and that's good if you know, if that's the direction of, or the main direction of enemy ground vehicle threat, then of course, you know, you can go this way and have the FCR just scan that way. However, I like it in the fixed position where my nose is. I've got then the ability to scan 90 degrees or less. We can go down to 45 and we can go down to 30. So, you know, a fairly large area. But as I said, it's very useful to be able to move the FCR. We could also move it manually, like that, and say, right, well, I want you to scan over there. And then when you finish, it will stay there until you move it back. So, using number one eyeball, using a bit of common sense with regards to understanding of the sim limitations and the mission making limitations, George to sort of look out there in advance. Let's see now, George, I want you to look there. And using him as well as the FCR, you should be in a pretty good place. For those of you who have got the Wingwin MIP, the Top Gun MIP like I've got here, you will notice that I use the script here. Let me just lock this into position. You notice I move the script for the up-front controller, which means that I can use this to input into the KDU. But of course, you know, as I think you've probably been able to see, I've also got the KDU here where I'm able to input there on a touch screen, etc. So either way, I'll be honest with you, I've been preferring the use of the up-front controller. It's just closer to me, it's common sense, I can see straight away what chaff and what flare I've got, and it's a very, very useful system to use in the Apache when you consider it was just designed for the F-18, so incredibly useful. Now in front of us, where those X's are on the TSD, on that right, on the right screen there, should be able to see him there a bit better. That's where we engage the first time round. So that is the FCR noting where those missiles were fired. Not necessarily that they killed or destroyed anything or neutralised anything, but they were fired at that location. And that was the command and control, the M1 comm that we cleared out. In fact, I think we can probably see that on the nose if I zoom in. And yeah, just on the nose there, see it? So let's give it a little scan just in case enemy forces have come in to give some support, which the answer is no. And we can narrow that search down really quickly. Just to make sure. And there it is on the nose. It looks like they weren't helped out by their country's brethren. A wider search now, and let's have a quick review. And yeah, so we want to sort of head down, and we want to stay the northern side of the pylons now. So we'll head down to the pylons. I can see them on the nose there, actually, just over there, look. So those are the pylons there. Right on the nose. Excuse me. Oh god, a little bit of a cough there. So there's the pylons there, and we're going to use we're going to use this pylon system here, and we're going to actually just come the southern side of it so that we don't do ourselves a mischief. And there they are, those pylons, and we're going to use that as a VFR rule, if you like. Visual flight rule, visual flight navigation. Navigation in the air is no different than navigation on the ground, believe it or not. In fact, some people say it's more difficult. You know, as I said, I'm not a pilot. I've never navigated in the air as a pilot, but I have navigated in the air when doing things like eagle patrols and so on. And yeah, navigating in the air can be quite confusing because you're not seeing things in the normal way that you would see them, but no different in principle. They use reference points, contours, topography and so on in order to be able to navigate about. So using something like an MSR or pylons or a wood line or a feature as part of navigation is perfectly fine, perfectly normal. Each of those have their own hazards. You know, following a wood line, we don't know what's in the woods, do you? Following a pylon, well, it's hazardous to the aircraft. You know, following nap of the earth, well, it's hazardous to you. You might make a mistake and fly into a bloody mountain, you fool. So, you know, everything has its hazards, essentially. There's a built-up area there. Let's just double check. Yeah, and that's the first one. And we can see there.
Radar searching.
Searching. Let's pop that collective up to about there. And let's aerodynamic trim. There we go. We're trimmed aerodynamically. I can feel the wind. I don't know if there's any wind on this mission, but I can certainly feel. Yeah, okay. There we go. Let's have a quick check of the map. There we go. We're following it all the way. And so, you know, the aerodynamic trim doesn't feel right. You can see that, you know, the helicopter is at an angle. Some people don't like that. Some people think it's unrealistic. No, it's not unrealistic. You know, the helicopter is a master of beating physics into submission. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. If the rotors are going around to the left, as they are in this particular model, then guess what? If they're going round to the left, then the helicopter wants to move to the right, i.e. the nose wants to move to the right, which means that aerodynamic trim, you've got to be able to counter that with left rudder. Essentially, in a nutshell. If you want to fly straight and true, then in the Apache it's not straight and true. In the Apache it is aerodynamic trim, which looks like that.
Radar. Missile. Aft right.
After right? Goodness gracious me.
Radar searching. Radar. Launch. Radar. Launch.
Oh, we need to get some cover somewhere, and we need to get some. Oh, do you see that? Yep. So someone's on me. So. Oh, another again.
Radar searching.
Let's go air target mode. Have I got some? Up to 2,000 feet. It's an aircraft that's targeted me. Oh Christ.
Radar searching.
Yeah, so it's an enemy aircraft. Let's go to the map. Yeah, it's an Su-34. Look at that. Just appeared out of nowhere. Would have snuck up on me. And he can ruin my day. But you know what? He didn't, did he? And the old program kicked in. And I can tell you, if I'd had that on bypass, by the time I would have decided what to do, depending on what the threat is, it'd have been too bloody late. So, well done.
Tracking.
Right, now.
Rotor RPM 5. Missile. Forward right.
Oh, forward right. Jesus.
Radar tracking.
There it is. On the nose. Just up there. Let's go, let's go. Oh, he's much higher than that. Come on. I'm going to go 180. Oh, he's right above me. Look at that. Oh my goodness. You couldn't write that.
Radar searching.
You couldn't write that. Where is he? Where is he? Fuck me, I've merged with an Su-34. Seriously? There he is, he's up there. Oh, is he buggering off? Do you know what? George.
Slaving. Now deslaved.
Radar searching.
Target in sight.
Gun.
Pausing Hellfire.
Come on, we're going to get George to do this. George, come on.
Slaving.
Don't let me down.
Radar searching. Radar tracking.
Tracking target.
Come on, George. Rifle. Rifle, George. Rifle him, George. You fucking cretin.
Target acquired.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Rotor RPM low.
Laser on.
Come on, George. Come on, George. Come on, George.
Lasers off.
Oh, come on. Beauty. Am I going to take an Su-34 out in the Apache?
RPM low.
Come on, I've got to let George... I'm climbing like a... I've got to let him... track. Oh no, I've got to keep my eye on him.
I'm up rockets. Lasers off. Pausing gun. Pausing Hellfire.
Right,
Radar
George.
searching.
Right, do you know what?
Rotor RPM low.
Shit. Another one, it just missed him.
Target in sight.
Come on, George. Come on, George.
Radar searching.
Blazing. Lasers off.
Oh, beauty.
Radar searching.
I think this could be the end of the stream, legends. I think this could be the end of the stream. Unless George can pull it out of the bag.
Laser on.
Come on, George. Come on, George.
Lasers off.
Oh, you
Searching.
bumder.
Rotor RPM 5.
Do you know what? Do you know what I should have done? Oh, goodness me. Let's see whether we can save it.
RPM 5.
See whether we can save it. Dump our stores. Dump, 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 dump. Don't land in the school. The children. The children. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. God save the King. Oh, Jesus. God save the King. Oof. Fan-bloody-tastic. Loved it. Well, there we go, legends. I hope you enjoyed that. I think it went rather well, don't you? We cleared that command area. We mixed it up at Maykop and got rid of the early warning radar and the search radar and the tracking radar. Got rid of them. And essentially all we had to do was fly back and have a jolly good time and take out all the other targets that were there and come back for tier medals. And a bloody Su-34 decided to mix it up with us. George, who I'm now dead with, is getting his fucking arse kicked right now. But to be honest with you, listen, I've done training missions with helicopters and I've tried to take them out with RF and laser missiles, and it seems there's so many different variables: speed, angle, how they're traversing the battle space, whether there's the time of the day, distance, as to whether you'll hit with a Hellfire. The Hellfire is designed to hit shit on the ground, not shit in the air. And the fact that it's got radar guided, the L's, you know, if it does take something into account, good for you. But you can't go to battle with those thinking that you've got air cover. You haven't. If you get spotted by a jet in a helicopter, you've had it. I'm not a helicopter pilot, but I'm telling you now, you're dead. Unless you have got some form of, you know, wing-mounted missiles, and even then they're likely to be fucking low range. You're dead. You're a goner. So, moral of the story is, a stationary helicopter is a dead helicopter, and if you go up against a jet, you're a goner. Helicopters only really operate under air superiority or DMZ. So, you know what I mean. Dead air. So, come across a jet, you should. That's it. Game over. Best thing you can do is land and run away, or hide, or go out fighting like we tried to then. Right, that's me. Thanks very much for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed it. I loved it. Got loads of flying hours in, etc. Let's zip to the outro. Take care now. Bye bye.